Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday the 10th of June 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Recently, concerns were raised to the Central Election Commission regarding delays in giving permissions to employees who have been appointed as electoral commissioners. The Commission has responded today that delaying permission to the employees to exert the function of electoral commissioner hampers the electoral process. For this reason, the Central Election Commission calls on all public administration directors to react and not to violate the electoral process any further. Failure to give permission to the employees of the public administration who are appointed to exert the function of electoral commissioner is hampering the administration of the electoral process, as the commissioners cannot exert their appointed duties according to the electoral code. The failure to respect a legal deadline has a negative effect on the whole activity of the electoral administration. There cannot be elections without commissioners, so the Director of the State Administration should be responsible and not become an obstacle, declared the CEC chairwoman. Based on the Electoral Code, the Central Election Commission emphasises that the commissioners appointed to voting and counting centres will not be engaged for electoral purposes, but instead their work is considered an administrative commitment. If this problematic situation, currently affecting 720 commissioners, continues to involve the up to 37,000 required commissioners, the electoral process risks ending up in collapse. The OSCE has encouraged the Central Election Commission to take all the necessary steps for June 25 in order to guarantee a complete observation of vote counting. Present at the Elections Conference on the domestic observation of ballot counting, current legal framework and best practices for its implementation, the head of the OSCE mission to Albania, Bernd Borchardt, declared that the monitoring of elections should be independent and professional, saying, "The OSCE strongly supports citizens' participation in democratic processes. Election observation is one of its many sides. Election observers are the public's eyes and ears in electoral processes, real watchdogs that help deter electoral fraud and expose process irregularities. At the end, they turn out to be the citizen's voice with their final evaluation. But then again, to achieve this, election observation needs to be truly independent, impartial and professional. At the OSCE, we strongly believe that the presence of observers, both foreign and domestic, can enhance electoral processes. Let me congratulate all civil society organisations for investing their efforts in raising awareness about election irregularities and holding institutions accountable. While giving more rights to observers involves changes to the law, which we hope will soon be addressed, with regards to ballot counting centres layout like the distance between the space reserved for the observers and the counting tables, the role of the CEC is crucial. We encourage the CEC to take all necessary steps for the June 25th elections to ensure that meaningful observation of the counting process becomes possible. The OSCE will continue to provide our support to the CEC and civil society organisations in effort to ensure that votes are cast, counted and reported fairly. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Central Election Commission said that vote counting is a very crucial moment in the election process. For this reason, he called on politicians and civil society to cooperate in order to guarantee election standards. The CEC chairman added that the political representatives are the ones who violate the law and cause delays to declare the election results. Prime Minister Edi Rama held a meeting in the city of Librazhe where he reiterated his request to the citizens to give the Socialist Party the opportunity to rule the country alone and to separate from the parties that take the public administration hostage. The Prime Minister said that we need a public administration for which we will be proud and not an administration for which we will be ashamed, emphasising that the Socialist Party is the only party that can grow the country's economy like never before. June 25 is a very important date that can become historic for Albania. We should make the decision to be united in these elections with the conviction that this is the time to separate from the politics and the parties that take the administration and people hostage. This is the time to give the Socialist Party the opportunity to govern alone and to make real reforms. This is the time to decide to build an administration that serves the citizens. This is the time to give the Socialist Party a complete mandate in order to increase the economy like never before and to give us the opportunity to fight for the economy just like we fought for the judicial reform. Give us the opportunity to take economic growth up 5% and to open jobs. Only the Socialist Party can grow the economy because we are the only force with a national and European vision for Albanians and a real program for the country's development, said the Prime Minister. adding, "We haven't done as much as we should, but as much as we could. But if you extend full power to us, in the next 4 years we shall do 4 times more than what we did in the past 44 months in office." Continuing his electoral campaign today, the Democratic Party chairman Lulzim Basha met with the citizens of Dibra. Calling on people not to vote for the Socialist Party, the DP chairman Basha said that poor conditions in the country are due to the bad governance of the current Prime Minister Edi Rama. Focusing on the Democratic Party's economic program, the DP chairman proposed a reduction in taxes for citizens, promising a 9% flat rate tax and to reduce the value-added tax to 15%. Will you continue to trust the old republic? Will you continue to trust in the parties that stole from the Albanian people? The SMI and PJIU do not have a program. Do not give a single vote for them. Their time will end on June 25, said the DP chairman. Mr. Basha also added that Meta has become furious because he has no support now. Speaking to those who have decided to vote for the party Justice, Integrity and Unity, the DP chairman advised they would be better to throw their vote in the river than to vote for such a party. Mr. Basha promised Dibra citizens the Arbury Road will be built, a promise which, according to him, was not kept by the Prime Minister, despite having had 4 years to do so. He also reaffirmed to citizens of Dibra that it is the people who have the fate of politicians in their hands. The Socialist Movement for Integration responded to the accusations of Prime Minister Edi Rama and DP Chairman Lulzim Basha against the Ministry of Agriculture. The Vice Chairman of the SMI, Luan Rama, declared in a press conference that the absence of subsidies for the farmers is not because of the Ministry of Agriculture, which is headed by the Socialist Movement for Integration, but because of the absence of a government program. I want to emphasise the fact that the fund for the subsidies is only €13 million for 2013, and it is the government's responsibility. Meanwhile, the fund for subsidies in Kosovo is €64 million, and in Macedonia it's €170 million. By pointing the finger to the Ministry of Agriculture, the DP chairman proves himself to be a blind servant, because the chairman of a party in opposition should point the finger to the government policies and not a minister. The chairman of the Renaissance, Edi, and his spokesperson, Lulzim Basha, do not intimidate the SMI. They do not fear us, and the citizens will give their answer to this duo on June 25. The Socialist Movement for Integration will remove all taxes on agriculture in the coming 4 years. We will remove the value-added tax on seeds and chemicals. The SMI will increase the subsidies for farmers and will open 15,000 jobs in the agricultural sector, declared the Vice SMI Chairman, Luan Rama. The Socialist Movement for Integration has held a meeting with citizens in Saranda, presenting their candidates for the June 25 parliamentary elections. During his speech, Assembly Speaker Mr. Ilir Meta guaranteed that the SMI will win the election, stating the decision is already made. 600,000 young people have made the decision and decided to support the SMI, to come out as the strongest political force. I also call on their parents to support the SMI. Let's become 1 million supporters by June 25 so that we can give a chance to everyone and say no to arrogance. Let's say no to those who have plunged into arrogance and egoism and forgotten the problems of the common people in Saranda and all over Albania. He added that on June 25, people will vote for the Albania of the next 20 years. Mr. Meta emphasised that the SMI is the strongest party because they put Albania and its youth first. According to Mr. Meta, the Socialist Movement for Integration gives a chance to everyone, including the Democrats and Socialists who do not find themselves aligned to the arrogance of their leaders who prepared candidate lists after midnight. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Alexandra, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.